Welcome back to the Mindcrack. We're back on the Mindcrack server. I hope you guys enjoyed that last episode where we built the Enderman repair shop with BOO. And due to some feedback in the comments, really good suggestion that I'm gonna go with. We're gonna call it the Endermender. The Endermender shop is actually, I haven't put the book in the chest yet, but it's open for business more or less. But today, we are going to start working on the new super house area. Last time we were, well, the time before last, 2 videos ago, we were looking around this area, and I found a portal, which is, I think it's on the other side. It's way over there, on the other side of where I put the portal for this place, where I moved it. There's a portal out there, and I found out and contacted Anders. Anders put the portal out there, and he said he was just exploring. He was just looking around. And he has no plans for this area. No one else has expressed any plans. I've asked in the Skype chat. So I think we're good to go to start constructing. Now this particular mesa extends pretty darn far. It's pretty big. So we won't even be taking the whole thing. And it is about 2,000 blocks away from the new hub, something like that. If you've seen people in a mesa in the new videos, in the 1.7 content, there are 2 of them pretty close to the new hub, about 2,000 blocks that way. And there's a lot of clay to be gotten there, and I'm not going to take this entire area. So I think we're good to go. We're not going to step on anyone's toes. No one has any plans. No one had any objections. So we're going to get to work. You can see I've moved the portal and made it bigger and a little more dramatic. This is going to be like the cinematic entry. When you come through my portal to come visit me, you're going to be presented with an overall view of this pow, this big sound effects. This big house going to be there. You're going to have a cool bridge. Not this. This is temporary, obviously. We're going to make something way cooler later. So then you cross the bridge, and at a certain point, there's going to be an elevator of some sort to take you up to the brain of the thing, where the storage and all the control mechanisms are going to be. It's going to be up in the air. It'll probably be an Ender Ascender, to use Ender Pearls to go straight up. Before I can really build that, one, I need to get a beacon so we can have a regen. Otherwise, Ender Pearls aren't really practical if you're not regenerating health. And we are still in UHC mode. We decided in our meeting recently to keep it. Let me actually turn it to day. I haven't lit anything up. I won't get anything done at night. And we are the only ones on just right now. So all my stuff is moved out here. And I'm ready to get going. So we're going to spend some time today sort of figuring out how tall things need to be, how big the first platform needs to be, where all the storage is going to be, all that kind of stuff. We're going to do some basic sketches of the overall proportions. But first, I want to do a little bit of preparation for the immediate landscape. If I pop up here, you can see that we're on a mesa. A mesa is a tabletop. That's literally what it is. So the mesa biome is filled with mesas. This is one mesa all the way out there, goes all the way around out there. And I calculated the approximate center of the thing by taking the coordinates at either side on all 4 sides. And that right there, that is the center. And so the storage area and the brain of the thing is going to be kind of up here, centered over this. Our mines are going to be centered over that, and we will have like a drop shaft so we can jump down there, because I just like jumping off tall things. It's fun. And then there will be a bridge. This bridge lines up with it. And instead of going with 4 bridges, like northeast, southwest, we're going to have 3 bridges, or maybe 6. It's either going to be 3 like a triangle or 6 like a hexagon. So there will be another one going across there, and then another one going across, probably hopping over to there and then hopping over to there. There is kind of this ramp that leads down to the bottom, but other than that, the walls are pretty steep. And so we're going to use bridges to get across, and it should tie in nicely to the overall shape and feel of the house. And later we may put some like water, some pools here, and some weird trees and things. But first, the basics. Okay, so first thing I want to do, I want you to be able to see the terrain here as you approach from any direction. Any direction. I want you to be able to see stuff on the surface here. And this surface is nice and level. It's got a little bit of slopes, which is fine. But there's this little hill here. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to smooth off this little hill here. There, that's quite a bit better. It's not perfect, but it's a vast improvement over that weird little formation that was there. And it was blocking the sight line. Still looks pretty natural. I may improve it as I see the need to over time. And I filled in a few of the little random holes. Already getting the Enderman damage. I need to hire that Zisteau guy to come Endermender the place. Alright, so what's next? Next, we need to figure out the levels for the thing. How high they are, how big they are. So, when I was building the lens, I sort of saved some of the practicalities for the very end, and it bit me in the butt just a little bit. Look at this multicolored mine shaft, by the way. These whole mesas, they're filled with clay. It is a ridiculous amount of clay. I have almost a double chest full of clay just from that tiny little hill I modified. A double chest of clay, of hardened clay. So, the Ender Ascender sort of was something I added to the lens after all the levels were set, after I had done a lot of the construction. I kind of had to adapt it to the lens, and then I didn't really think about the levels for the mine shafts. And so this time, I want to try and think about these things ahead of time so that they line up properly. So this is as low as we can go. We're at 5, right? Okay, so if we're going to be using Ender Ascenders with health regen off, UHC mode, we are going to need a beacon, at least one. A beacon with regen on, because otherwise they're just not practical to use Ender Pearls all the time. So these are going to be the spots for 4 beacons. Our center is going to be divisible by 2. It's not going to be an odd number. It will be an even number. So we'll have 4 beacons. We'll have like a speed beacon, a jump boost beacon, a haste beacon, and what's the 4th one we would want? I think regen is the secondary function. What's the 4th one? Jump, speed, haste. Resistance. That's right. Okay, and resistance. Okay, so the beacons, they need 4 layers of ores. So imagine these. This is the pyramid of ores, the 4 layers. Right now we're at 10. Goody goody gumdrops. We go up one more. This is the beacon itself, right? Oh, let's use a torch for that. So that's the beacon itself at 10. Why is it still saying? Is this right? Did I count right? Uh-oh. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, that's because I'm not standing on the torch. That's why it's confusing me. Okay. So the beacon is there. Let's just go ahead and give it. Let's give it one of these. So because the beacon is a block, you can stand on it. So that's the beacon right there. One of the 4. And then we're probably going to want either a full block or a slab over top of those. I may cover them, I may not. But we're probably going to be at 11. That's going to be our lowest floor. And like our mines here are going to default to here. And we'll probably have stairs that go down or some kind of way to get down to the lower levels and go higher. But this is going to be our ground floor at the very lowest. So then we have to try and figure out what height of our Ender Ascender would work properly with our mine shaft way down there, and then floors lining up so that they're all the same height, and then so that it lines up at the surface up here, and then continues the same distance up to the first level where the storage is going to be up in the air. I heard a skeleton. Maybe there's a cave there that I have not discovered yet. So here we are in my creative test world, and I made a new design for the Ender Ascender. When I first made these guys, when I was building the lens, I didn't really plan out the heights ahead of time, and so I ran into a problem where the floors didn't really line up into even numbers, and I actually had to go higher than an ender pearl would throw, the vertical distance. I had to go higher than that. You can throw the ender pearl. It goes up about 29.5 blocks, something like that. And so I had to go up 31 blocks, and so what I did was, for that one, you would throw your ender pearl up and hit the tripwires and the ceiling. Oh, and this happens sometimes. There we go. And you just throw another pearl to fix it. Basically, I made you go up some stairs. 2 blocks so that you would be going up 31 blocks. And I don't have a pick on me, I don't think, because I'm mostly in creative mode, but for some reason you can't throw ender pearls in creative mode. So I ran into a problem there. This time we're going to plan it out. So right now we're at y equals 48. That is at y equals 68, so it's 20 blocks above the grass. And I figured out sort of the optimal height is 29 blocks is about the maximum you can go. This is 28 blocks. The problem with going 29 is that you start to reach the apex of the ender pearl and it starts to sort of veer off course. It becomes a little harder to control. Here's 28. Throw straight up, hit the tripwires. It closes the floor from the redstone pushing the pistons and simultaneously opens the ceiling so you can go up to the next level. You can see the aesthetics, by the way, are not important. This is just to get the wiring set up. There's the pistons right there. So that goes up 28 blocks and works fine. But we just figured out that the mine, the bottom floor of the mine, needs to be at y equals 11. And the mesa that we are living on, it's at about y equals 91 or 92. So if we take that distance, that's 81 blocks, more or less. We can come up 1 block and do an ender ascender that is 27 blocks high. 27 times 3, 81. That's going to be the distance between our floors. So here's the different floors at each level for the ender ascender. There's one. It won't be located just here, but these are the levels they'll be located at. This is so colorful, this thing. It's most colorful mine shaft ever. There's another level. You notice that one is, it's 2 blocks below the surface, so the ender ascender would probably be possibly here. And here we have some dirt platforms. I've been working hours trying to figure out the exact dimensions and proportions of this first level because it's important to get it right, because moving the stuff later on is going to be a big pain in the buttski. So here's the idea, the basic, the concept of how the first level is shaped. So the whole house is going to kind of socket into the landscape through these big 3 prongs, and they're not going to be like that. I'm just trying to get the curve right. We're going to bulk them up so that they look like it can hold a gigantic thing up here. So it'll probably be more like, if you think of this as like one side of the curve, the other one will probably be like, pow, you know, like dramatic music plays when you look at it, because it's going to be big. It's got to hold all this stuff up. So I'm just trying to get the curve right, and we're going to have 3 of them, and then we're going to have bridges coming off of here, like I was saying earlier, that'll sort of play into the overall look of the house. We're going to have bridges coming off maybe in 6 directions, like a hexagon. And if you remember when I was talking, actually before we go there, let's come over and look over here. This is all the stuff. I sort of listed out the kind of things I want to put in the house. So these are the Y elevations for the different floors. We're at basically the 92 elevation. And that one right there is at 119, this floor where all the storage is going to be. And then the other floors will be above that, and all the craziness will be sort of up there. But we've got 3 huge things to make. A mob farm, an iron farm for village golems, and then a gold farm for zombie pigmen. All of those are mob-based, and they require dropping, or at least the version I'm going to use requires dropping. So they're going to be up here, and we may have them drop way down here. The iron golems take a lot of height, and the normal mob farms have to be taller now too because of the witches spawning. So we may have them come down here and then have all that stuff get sorted, and then we may use like a little item elevator and bring all those items up through one of these legs up into the brain of the thing. This is going to be like the brain. I've kind of been picturing Mother Brain's pedestal in Metroid. She's got this pedestal thing. She's sitting there in her glass jar. That's the brain. If that helps you visualize. So we're going to have 3 mob farms, which is why I decided to go with this 3-legged, 6-sided, 6 bridges proportion design type thing. Because we've got 3 of these things. They're going to be the big and bulky things. Then we need animal pens. Chickens, I'm not even worried about chickens because they're not very useful for food. You only need them for feathers. I'm going to have a mob farm, which will be giving me arrows. So what do I need feathers for? Books? I'm not worried about chickens, but cows for food, pigs for food, I guess, and definitely sheep for colored wool. We will have those. We also need all these farms: cocoa, wheat, carrots, potatoes, netherwort, cactus reeds, pumpkin, melons. I may have forgotten something, but I think that's most of it. And then we also need the storage, going to be there. Smelting, enchanting, brewing. I may have forgotten a few things, but that's a lot of it. That's most of it. That'll keep me occupied for some time. So anyway, let's come up here. I'll give you a little aerial view. Once we get up here, these curved main 3 columns are going to flow seamlessly, I hope, at least that's the idea, into 8 columns or potentially 6 columns. So here is the curve of the big column. It's going to come up here. Then this is the footing for the columns that rise up from here. And they're this shape for a reason, because there's going to be stuff inside them. We'll get into that later in a later episode. But hopefully this will flow kind of seamlessly up into these columns, which will rise up there and support everything above us. Nothing's going to be floating. It's all going to be connected. One of the things that took me so long is trying to find the right proportions to spread out the columns so they didn't look super dense and that you had a little bit of room to walk around the outside and the inside. This center section is going to be empty. It's so you can jump down into the mines. So that's going to be, it's going to be hollow. It's going to be like a donut. It's going to be a torus shape. Toroidal, you might say, I think. So this big leg here, I think that'll flow into that pretty nicely. What I'm sort of not sure of yet, and I'm going to try, is if we can make these columns diagonal. This one and this one, instead of having 8 at this level, if we can have 6, because I think that would assist our overall idea of having the 3 legs, the 6 legs, the 3 big mob farms. I'm gonna try that out and see if it'll work. I may have to change some things. I'm still figuring it out. This is kind of complicated. You can see how like I started with a small platform and I made it bigger to try and get things to fit properly. I think that's going to be about it for this episode, though. I need to start doing some mining. I am very low on the resources, but pretty soon I should be able to move my stuff up here almost immediately and get rid of this little box here. Woo! Don't fall off, thank you. I can get rid of that, and then we can start construction proper. And we won't have any like temporary stuff in our way. I mean, this is all temporary, but we're in the right spot at least, which is it's a nice amount of progress there. And I've put 3 more levels up there just so I can eyeball the kind of proportional stuff. We've got room for 2 more above that as well. But anyway, I think this is a pretty good start. I need to do some mining. I'm down to, I think, 4 diamonds total. And I need some more. I'm also going to need a lot of redstone for this place and a lot of iron. We need to set up a beacon. We'll probably do that next time. Fight a wither, set up a beacon, and do some more work on this stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you find my dirt platform discussion interesting. I hope. But it'll get better once we get the shape worked out. We'll start building with actual blocks that we want to use. So anyway, that's it for today. See you later, guys. Take it easy. Have a good day. Bye-bye.